Well, it's time to start working on some of these panels. Hi, I'm Dave. Welcome back to 65 Fab. Given that we're working backwards anyway, doing the main body of the car in about 12 months' time, I thought we may as well go backwards on the panels as well, and I'll start with the most difficult one, being this rear lift-up tailgate. We've also got the rear flip-down tailgate here, and this is not in bad condition overall. I will be taking the skin off it because I want to basically prep all the insides and do the whole thing correctly. So we'll do that next, but for today, we're looking at this. And given how rare and how difficult it is to find these, I really need to fix it. If we look closely, we can see that, there's a few patches of rust on the outside here, but this is nothing insurmountable as far as I can tell. A little bit of work to be done along the top. So the outside skin, will get this off, and that's probably not too bad. But if we flip it over, we can see that this is going to take a lot of work on the inside. For starters, have a look at this corner. It's pretty much shot, and if we move along, there's more rust that's gone right through here. And down here, this is really bad. It's all going to have to be remade. There's rust holes at the top. In fact, this entire section is probably going to have to be redone. At least that looks strong there, but that's just about it. I mean, this is going to take some serious work, so I'll get into stripping it and see if we can get the skin off, and then start gradually building this by hand. Well, just quietly, that was a bit more difficult than it should have been. This little bolt, the little nut on the end, it completely stripped. So I ended up having to cut it out from the middle, but we can always repair that later. Let's keep going. Okay, so this is officially nasty. There's actually not much left of this top section. This is completely gone. I think by the time we get some of the spot welds out around the sides, this will just lift up, but this entire thing's going to need to be replaced. Wow, got my work cut out here. Alright, let's keep going. Oh dear. While this top edge doesn't look too bad, have a look at this. Oh dear. There's some serious work going to be needed to actually repair these. Oh dear. Look at this. This really is going to take some work. Like I mentioned earlier, really got no choice. These tailgates are not easy to find. So, let's see if I can get it apart, and we'll see what we're going to do to actually start fixing it. managed to get it apart, but I got to say, it feels a little bit overwhelming at the moment that the one piece that I can't get a replacement for is the very thing that is the most rusted. It's pretty scary. I'm just going to have to rebuild each section. Hopefully there's enough that I can work with. I mean, I'm sure there is. This entire here, this is all rusted. This whole top I'm going to have to rebuild. So I think the plan is going to be that I'll start with basically I'll strip them both, get them back to bare metal, just see what metal we've got left before I start cutting any rust out, etc. I'll treat what rust I can, and then I think I'm just going to keep this flat on a table and basically start working my way around, just repairing each section of it, and hopefully there's enough good steel that I can still work on various different pieces and different parts of it and rebuild it. So it's going to be an ongoing project. Time to strip it. Righto, so now it's tomorrow, and yesterday afternoon I had the first pass of starting to strip off some of the paint. This is really thick. It's actually got a couple of good thick layers on it, even had a little bit of bog in the corners, had to pull those out. The frame hasn't come up too bad as the first go, but I want to get it all the way back pretty much as possible to shiny steel, so that I'll have a good idea of what's left to work with, and we'll start building patches. So all I'm doing is currently, and I'll do another coat now, we're just stripping it with a bit of this poly paint stripper from Bunnings. Seems to work pretty well. So basically I just put it down, put it on, cover it with a bit of plastic to let it cook for a while, and eventually we'll get all the paint off. So I'm going to keep going. Well, if you blinked, you would have missed it. But that was my mate Mick turning up to take both the frame and the skin for the upper tailgate that I've pretty much stripped back. And he's going to take that away. He's putting in some caustic soda and some citric acid to get it cleaned up and eat away any of the rust, clean out the rust. So while he's doing that, much appreciated, we may as well get on to this one, which is the lower tailgate. Now the beauty of this is it's actually not, it doesn't look like it's in too bad nick, but there are a couple of weak rust spots along the bottom here. If this skin is too badly damaged, in fact it's got a couple of little dents in it here, this skin is replaceable. It's actually quite easy to get. So what I'm going to do right now is strip it off, then we can make a decision about whether the skin is savable or we just put a new one on it, and we'll start working on the inner structure as well. Oh, you can hear all the, maybe you couldn't, but when I turned that up you can hear all the rust rolling around inside it, so we'll see exactly what we're dealing with in there. But all told, it doesn't look too bad. This is going to be much easier to repair than the upper tailgate. So we'll go through the same process while we're waiting for the upper tailgate to get stripped. Let's go. Well, if I didn't know better, I would think the powers that be never wanted us to get this skin off. However, when I look closer, what we've actually got, someone's taken this off before, because this, if you can see here, this is the original black sealer that would have come from the factory, and it's got these blobs of white sealer. Oh my god, they took some cutting through, which is, I got this little tool out again. What an awesome tool. But yeah, all told, it's come off. This skin doesn't look too bad, some minor dents and what have you, but really it does need a fair bit of rust work along this bottom section. You know, it's not rotted through, but honestly, for basically $300 odd, in fact less than $300, I can get a new skin. So I think that's what I'll do. It's not worth. In fact, if I didn't know better, this looks like zinc-anneal. It's got this plating on it. I wonder whether this has actually been replaced before. That's my guess. I think this is a refabricated panel. Anyway, that's beside the point. It's evidently been on here for a long time because we've got quite a bit of rust showing, but I don't think I'll bother trying to fix this. I think the easiest thing to do is I'll just get a new one and concentrate on the frame. The frame doesn't appear to have too much in the way of, you know, bad damage. I'll have to replace these flanges. That's relatively easy. If I can get this into some caustic soda and citric acid as well and see what we can clear out. Hopefully most of this is actually not too bad. So we'll just give it a clean and see where it goes. Yep. That's the next step. Let's get this one clean. And we're back. It's now the other side of the weekend, and we've got the upper and lower tailgates back from being dipped. So now we have a reasonable idea of what we're dealing with, which is no better than we thought earlier, but at least we've got largely clean steel that we can work with. So what I'll do now is I'll deoxidine this panel. I'll go and get these last little bits of paint off, hit it with some deoxidine to protect it, and then this one will pretty much go on the shelf just for a little while we work on this, which as we know from a little bit earlier in the video, there's some work to be done. But I think really what it's going to come down to is I'll just work through this piece by piece. I can't do it all in one go. That's well beyond me. But I'll just take each area, we'll make new patterns, and I'll start repairing it as we go around. So that's going to be, I guess, a number of upcoming videos. But look, thanks for joining me. Hit the subscribe button if you can, and I'll get these cleaned up, and we'll start the next part of the project. Cheers. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.